And away we go. Risk just joined, he's just reconnecting.
God knows why it kicked me out, but I'm here.
Okay, we just started the episode.
Alrighty. So, we didn't do as well as we thought we would with Hamilton. The Hamilton Stonehouse elections. We didn't get that. We did won a couple seats. We won a seat in Clacton, and I think we won two seats in Norfolk.
Okay.
I have my suspicions that area was predominantly more liberal than anything in Hamilton. I think when you get to the freaking northeast, Inverness and that area, I think we'll do extremely well. Can't say how well we'll do, but I think you'll definitely get a seats. Well, there's a lot of seats. Reform now have a decent amount of seats in Aberdeenshire because there's been that many defections. Most of the defections have come from that area anyway. At least from Reform Scotland, so potentially could get more seats. No, it's a good run, a good riding for next year when the big elections in Holyrood happen. So Zia Youssef has now been fired or been sacked.
Yeah, he is no longer the chairman of Reform UK.
I have my suspicions he's still got influence though, and he'll probably still be a director. He just won't be public. He'll be private. That's just a sad part. The sad thing is that they're probably Rupert Lowe and them are probably not going to reconnect with Nigel. But so what's been going on with Trump and Elon?
Well,
Is it just a feud to get Elon more to repair his image with the left, or is it quite frankly is he literally, or is Trump doing him a favor, or are they doing something together simply just so they can get their freaking Epstein files released?
well, who knows what on earth is going on between Musk and the Trump. However the case, it's getting everyone talking, it's getting people distracted, and also,
What did they release during this?
well, other than a couple of tweets that Elon Musk has said
No,
about.
I mean, what did they release in the shadows while everybody was distracted?
What is the last time you heard about Palantir?
Well, I'm a shareholder.
Oh, so you know what's going on with Palantir in the last
I'm a
few days.
shareholder, Jamie. I've been in Palantir since $5 a share. I've got 600. Let's just put it like this: I've got a 600% return on Palantir as a shareholder. I was an early day shareholder of Palantir. I bought in a couple months after it. So let's just say I made a small. Palantir's a small. I used to have a lot more Palantir than I do now, but I still have a big. The shares have went up that much. I was expecting it to grow, Jamie. I didn't expect it to grow as big as it is now. At least in this short of a time. I was thinking this would be a 10, 20 year hold. Not affected. I thought it would take 5, maybe 6, 10 years to get £130 a share. It's mad.
This is wild, yes.
Yes, a 600% return. That's beating the S&P by a long shot. I'm also getting into 1,000% returns at some point with that stock, because I think it'll probably go. I think it's a future $1 trillion company. I invested mainly before AI became a big player. And I saw the government contracts, I saw the defence industry with it. But it's interesting, the whole thing with Palantir. I think it'll get backlash, don't get me wrong. Do you know the story about Palantir and how it was founded?
No, I do not.
And how basically Thiel, right, was an early co-founder of Palantir. He helped build the company from scratch. He's the one that got them in trouble, got them linked. He's one of the people that kind of had part play of linking them with the government, with the CIA. Because the CIA, so you know the CIA, right? The CIA,
Yeah.
they were early investors in Palantir before it even IPO'd. The government was always invested in them. But Palantir was a government business all the way until they opened up to the public, until they IPO'd, where they started focusing more on retail and individual business clients. They were always defense, heavily linked to defense. They're like the seventh pillar of the U.S. defense industry. They were always the guys for like when you wanted freaking data analytics. They've got some interesting stories as well. They helped freaking they helped find, what was it? The Bin Laden. Yeah, they helped find Bin Laden with Palantir Technologies. And Trump's been linked with Palantir for years. Palantir helped him with ICE years ago. Yeah, Palantir's a big company. It's good. It's mainly government. Its main drivers for a long time were government, military, defense, also other governments as well. Like so, Britain's heavily linked to Palantir as well through the NHS. and other companies. Even Labour's not going to get rid of the Palantir thing because they know for a fact how important Palantir is to Britain as a whole. But yeah, the very big deep state company. But yeah, so what else is there?
Let's see.
So yeah, very big deep state. Yeah, it's always been.
Apple loses bid to halt court ruling that blocks some fees from its iPhone App Store.
What things does it block?
Apple asked the United States Courts of Appeal to pause enforcement of a ruling that prevents it from charging commissions on some App Store transactions. This request came after Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers held Apple in contempt in April for failing to comply with an injunction issued during the Epic Games litigation.
To be fair, Apple has been having a monopoly in App Store for a long, long time. It's about time that the federal government getting it cracked down on them, ain't it?
Yeah, very true.
I think certain things they should be allowed to allow, right? I think they should be allowed to. I think there should be certain things that they should not be allowed to freaking charge on, right?
Yeah.
Banks
Yeah, that's
and digital
fair enough.
platforms. Yeah.
Good point.
Because banks, I don't think they should be allowed to charge interest. I don't think they should be allowed to charge a fee for banks. Potentially certain government apps as well, if we're being honest. So, like, I don't think they should be allowed to charge on banks because it gives them an unfair advantage as well. Because remember, Apple's a bank as well at this point. They got the Apple credit card. Is that still a thing, or is Apple credit card still a thing, or is it something that died down?
That's the first time I'm hearing about Apple credit cards.
But I've heard of Apple cards, but not credit cards specifically.
Pretty sure the credit card business was Goldman Sachs, wasn't it? But I'm pretty sure they had a card business and that where they basically allowed you to. I think they even gave the Apple even had their own credit card at one point, a Visa card or something, or MasterCard or something like that.
Well, I know Apple's do, but Apple has like probably a card, but not a credit card. I don't believe.
They probably have a credit card, to be fair, but it's not run by them. It's probably run by Goldman Sachs.
I can see them having a debit card more than a credit card. I'll be honest. Like just Apple. I can see them having their own debit card.
Apple cards, monthly installments, make payments, and download your monthly statements. It's mainly a version of buy now, pay later.
Oh, buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
I think which is fucking very bad business because quite frankly, it wrecks your credit score. Buy now, pay later.
Oh yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's stupid. Buy now, pay later. Unless I would not do that unless I was extremely desperate.
Let's be desperate. There's some people that are thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to buy now, pay." Here's the thing, right? They make it that easy, right? Let's say I'm drunk on let's say I go out partying drinking, right, with my mates, right? Let's say I just come home, right? I decide I don't have the money now, but I decide I want to order fucking pizza, right? Like I randomly think, oh, I'll just buy now, pay later, and then a couple months later, you're wondering why the fuck am I in debt to Domino's for simply just ordering a £10 pizza? The thing is, though, when you're that fucking drunk, do you blame?
You don't remember anything.
Yeah, it's true. Still, you don't. And then they wonder why the fuck am I 10, £20 in debt to Domino's? I only ordered a freaking pizza and maybe a bottle of freaking Sprite or something, or Pepsi Max. Last time I checked, it didn't cost that much. And then you know that the fact that every week you don't pay, you're getting charged massive amounts of interest on that.
That is just horrible.
Next one is saying, "Oh, you need to buy now, pay later to freaking afford your groceries, your weekly supermarket."
What if at one point you don't have the money to cover all of your groceries because you thought I'll pay it later, but somehow you don't have the money to pay it later?
Yeah.
I can see illegal immigrants doing that more than a regular civilian.
Oh, I can see Americans doing that as well. I can see certain Brits doing that as well, I'm afraid.
Yeah, or I can see just like
some college maybe the dumb people that go to college and that, right? Don't really have much money. Not really that smart with money.
Yeah, I can see college kids doing that actually too. Okay.
Yeah.
But apparently Trump is on that Epstein's list. Elon said it.
Even if he is, right? I doubt he's on the Epstein list.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, if they were that desperate, don't you think they were that desperate to get rid of them, right? Don't you think they would have freaking just done it?
they would have. They definitely would have.
Let's be real here. These guys are already multi-millionaires. I doubt half of them would even care. Like, let's be real here. I'm retired. I'll just get Biden to fucking give pardon us while we're in office, right? And the fact is, we know for a fact they would have done it.
Besides, some people also think this is just a distraction, which is
It is a distraction. Jamie mentioned something about Palantir earlier. The data, the analytics of it. The basically compiling a complete data set of like every American.
The complete data reset of every American, you said?
Data set of Americans, so basically a lot of information, basically a centralized database of like every American. But let's be real here, they already have that. They have your social ID, they have all of it. I've had that for a long, long time.
Of course. That's not a...
Some say it is basically a way to basically get a centralized government. But who knows?
See, who knows what's going on with America?
So I honestly don't get the feud with Musk, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're using this as a goat tactic to get the Democrats to freaking release the list. So I just don't think that Musk actually hates Trump. I think they're actually just pulling some type of shit to freaking pull a distraction and get some laws passed.
Yeah. I mean, Obama doesn't actually hate Trump, so I don't think
he's his biggest fan, but I don't think Trump hates him. I wouldn't be surprised if Obama uses Trump's golf courses.
So you're surprised that Obama uses Trump's golf courses?
I wouldn't be surprised if he uses them, because let's be real here, some of his golf courses are some of the best in the world. They put some freaking other courses to shame.
I'm pretty sure Trump...
As much as the Liberals hate Trump, you've got to admit he's a fucking good businessman. He's been able to build a fucking massive golf business.
I'm pretty sure Trump has a
property empire. The way he's marketed, the way he's done some of his things, right? He's allowed people to use his name, right? He trademarked his own name, right? He allows other people to take the risk. So if he gets paid a royalty if it succeeds. If it succeeds, he gets money. If it doesn't succeed, well, he still gets money. The way he's done it is actually quite freaking ingenious.
Yeah.
And the fact is, you would be surprised. I suppose Kevin O'Leary kind of probably does a similar thing as well in that, like, he lends out his name, right? As long as he gets his take and his percentage, as long as he makes some money, and if the business goes under, well, he still gets paid. So why does he care? It's the best way. As long as you get paid, doesn't matter if you get the business done. As long as I take a stake, as long as I get royalties.
Yeah, for the long run, it's good.
Well, it sucks if the business gets done, but I'm still getting my licensing fee for just using my name, so fine. So what do you think will happen? Do you think the Republicans will win the next election?
Most likely.
Most likely. Supposedly they lost a special election seat in South Carolina and Ohio. For the off-season election, I don't think they're really...
I mean, after Trump, who's gonna really care?
You got Vance. Elon was talking about creating a new party. That'll never work. Americans will never allow that to happen.
Unfortunately.
Well, it could be Gabbard. It could be Vance. It could be JD Vance, or quite frankly, JD Vance, Marco Rubio. I think Vance and Rubio would be an interesting pick.
I can't see JD then.
You can't see JD being the next leader.
Nope.
Who do you see then out of them?
No, honestly, I don't care for any of them.
Well,
but I mean, I don't really pay that much attention to politics.
Really?
I don't really know.
Point.
Who I would.
I don't honestly think there's much. Don't think there's much difference. I think the only thing with like Marco, to me just seems too much in the bag of Israel. Like they're all Israel. They're all basically Israel's pawns. So
I mean, all of them.
They all are, but some of them are just freaking jihadists or jihadist sympathizers, effectively. So I think, however things. So where do you think things stand in the UK now, Jamie?
Well, Reform UK support is still on the rise, as always.
Do you think Lib Dems got a high chance of taking major seats? They won a shitload of seats in this local election.
Yeah, Lib Dems are doing very, very good, especially on the local level.
Am I the one that thinks that they're the next big party? They're going to replace Labour as the second biggest party.
Yeah, I think at this rate,
I think it's a fucking stone hard race between Reform and Lib Dem. The fact that Labour is going to say, "Well, we're the main opposition to Reform," but they're not.
No.
Have you seen some of the polls? Lib Dem.
It's wild.
Some of the reports, the things with Lib Dem are freaking against. Labour will still keep some. Don't get me wrong. As much as I would love to see Labour fucking crash and burn, they're still going to keep seats. We all know that.
Especially where I'm from, specifically.
They're going to still keep strongholds.
Yeah, Labour will still have strongholds regardless.
They'll always have the. But I truly do think they've lost the red wall. I truly believe they've lost the red wall, and I believe
What's
the
left of it?
SNP have lost part of their heartland as well. I think SNP is going to lose big parts of Aberdeenshire when the next elections are going on. I think they're going to lose big parts of it. I don't know if they'll lose all of it, but I think Reform are going to flip big swabs of Aberdeen. Because the SNP are that fucking anti-oil and gas. And so many jobs depend on oil and gas there. I can't see them keeping big amounts of seats. Realistically, the only reason why SNP kept some seats there was because, quite frankly, we were that fucking pissed. We voted for Reform. And because of our stupidity, we let them take seats when we really shouldn't have. We should have literally voted for what's in our best interest. But so, what else is there?
Let's see.
Apparently, today, uh, I think it was some like Muslim holiday today in New York, and apparently the kids got out of school. But
Yeah,
like,
Eid Mubarak.
yeah, I didn't know how to pronounce it. Eid Mubarak
Yeah, I'm
or
not
something.
really. Yeah,
And I'm like, that wasn't a thing when I was in school. I was like, yeah.
because they're pushing because Muslims have got that much power in New York now, Eric. They're about to
Yeah,
take massive sway. They're gonna Islamify New York like they did London. Watch.
Because of social media.
I think New York's going to change for the worst. If I'm being honest, with what's going to happen.
yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of hijabis and a bunch of like,
Yep.
I'm seeing a bunch of them now, bro.
Yeah, I'm seeing. So I see some of them in the supermarkets as well. Not as
Yeah,
many where I live,
like
but they are seeing them.
now some
Parts
of
of
them,
Aberdeen I can't recognise.
now some of them I can actually tell that they grew up in this country, but the other ones I'm just like, wait, did they grow up in this country? Did they
Do
like,
they look westernised? Do they look like
no,
they've integrated?
no,
The ones that grew up in this country.
yeah, like for the most part, yeah.
Do you think that they would? Do you think they pose a threat, or do you think they would defend you from these jihadists, or do you think they would join them? That's the hard part.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's like I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know. It's like, yeah, you can look westernized on the outside, but it's like when it comes down to it, will you actually do for it?
When it comes to it, a Muslim's always going to be a Muslim, in my view. That's
Yeah.
why we got rid of That's why we got rid of fricking. That's why got rid of Zia because we didn't trust him.
Yeah, it's like
That's why they got rid. That's why Reform. That's why the right wing of Reform ousted him, pushed and pushed and pushed to get him out because we didn't trust him. I don't blame them because let's be real here. Would you trust someone like that? I'm happy with the Sikhs joining the party. I'm happy with other religions joining them. I don't trust Muslims, not in the slightest. Just there's too much freaking proof of them literally conquering and invading countries. And sometimes it was the Jews that opened the door for them. That's the reason why a lot of them were kicked out. Every so often. So what else is there?
UK regulator FCA to lift ban on crypto ETNs for retail investors.
He's only doing that because he's scared of Reform.
Possibly.
And they know for a fact Reform are planning to do it because Reform is heavily pro-crypto.
Yeah, I've heard about that a couple days or weeks ago that Reform UK had become the first European political party to allow and accept crypto transactions for
Donations,
support.
donations to them.
Yeah.
That'll be very big with the Cardano ADA community because that's heavily big in Scotland. Cardano has a big Cardano ADA, a cryptocurrency created by Charles Hoskinson, has their own research lab. Is basically research and peer review based, and it's heavily influenced from Scotland. A lot of the major protocols for that cryptocurrency were made in Scotland. In crypto, Sunak a long time ago wanted to make the UK a crypto hub. Well, I hope they simplify crypto and capital gains on that for crypto. But so what else is there?
California resident can't believe how expensive everything is becoming. She shows what she got for breakfast. Uh, two, just two bagels, a regular drink that costs $32.
Did you hear the fact that California is now offering $30 per
Really? For what?
minimum wage? That's
Oh,
their new minimum wage. $30 an hour.
it's not minimum wage.
That's
But
minimum wage in California now.
hey, I'll take it.
Don't, because it means it's dumb. They've basically suicided themselves economically, right? Pizza
If
Hut.
you
You think
raise the
Pizza Hut's
minimum
gonna
wage,
fucking pay someone £30 to fucking deliver a fucking pizza, or an Uber driver?
If I was down there, I would question it, but I wouldn't question
Well, they're gonna. That's just asking to be automated. You're asking for fucking McDonald's to automate. You're asking Burger King to automate. You're asking every fucking major company to fucking sack their employees and basically replace them with robots. Even Amazon. Amazon's talking about freaking creating robotic drones to deliver packages. Because there's rumors that freaking certain Amazon delivery drivers are on fucking kits. Or on drugs every time they freaking come and deliver a parcel. Or they're casing the freaking someone's house to come back to their buddies to fucking rob them when they're not in. But yeah. It's mad.
it. Yeah, man, with everything
but they're gonna
moving.
do it anyway.
Yeah.
£30 an hour. That's
Yo,
There's
imagine if
certain
you could.
jobs that are just not worth £30 an hour. I'm sorry, but if you're a burger fucking flipper, to a certain extent, you're not worth that much money. You shouldn't be making 30k a year. You shouldn't be making £30.
Yes, they're following their dream just like their hero SpongeBob.
Oh, that is rich.
The thing is, though, like, there are certain manual jobs that are just not worth that much money. Do I
That's
think
true.
that CEOs get overpaid? Yes, they do. Like, certain CEOs get overpaid. I think the CEO of Tesco, I think, is overpaid. I think the CEO of Walmart's overpaid. I think Coca-Cola, PepsiCo is overpaid. I don't think a CEO should be making tens of millions a year. I think you should take a small salary, and if they do well, take stock options as payment and reward for the hard work. I wouldn't take a large salary because that's just going to get taxed. What I'd do is take most of it in fucking stock options. I'd take a low salary, minimum 500 grand, right? And the rest in a couple million stock options.
So, is there anything else in the news?
Indeed, there is.
Procter & Gamble cut 7,000 jobs. I can't.
What are you gonna say?
What else is there?
A year from World Cup, US tries to right itself after Copa America and CONCACAF Nations League flop. That's embarrassing.
But we've probably heard more embarrassing things. Let's hear more about this story.
Okay, 1 year from hosting the FIFA World Cup for the first time since 1994, the United States team is struggling to right itself on the field and regain the confidence of a distressed fan base. Shaken by flops at the Copa America and the CONCACAF Nations League, the United States plays Turkey on Saturday at East Hartford, Connecticut, and Switzerland on Tuesday at Nashville, Tennessee. The team then heads to the CONCACAF Gold Cup, its last competitive match, until the AM.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen, huh? Now they're struggling.
Yes.
Yeah, that is just that is extremely sad. I'm gonna say it's like, look,
What, UEFA's struggling?
No.
Are you telling me the Americans are struggling at football?
It's the Americans are struggling at soccer football.
To be fair,
As
they were
always.
never that great to begin with, and I think there's more attention from the Premier League.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if all American teams. Why don't they join the Premier League or join English football? I think they'd have more fun.
Premier League teams are practically going to the United States for the pre-season to get American soccer football fans hooked up on the sport, so might as well.
Why not make them in? Why not have these guys compete? And why not have certain American teams compete? Like, why not have this American soccer teams compete? Like, build them in. I'm surprised we don't fricking just like you got fricking as much as they would like to say it. In the Premier League, we've got like fricking what was it? What teams do we have? Ain't there French football teams that compete in the Premier League?
No. I think France has their own domestic top flight league.
Ain't PSG competing in the Premier League?
No. The PSG has won the UEFA Champions League this season for the first time ever.
So wasn't there a match between PSG and certain time in Arsenal or something like that? I could have swore that was on Amazon, but look, I'm surprised we don't make one. I'm surprised we don't combine the. Why don't we combine the British and Paris League into one type of Super League?
You know, I think there was a time where the president of Real Madrid wanted to create what is called the European Super League, where the biggest clubs in Europe compete against each other for the title because, well, some of the big teams in Spain, France, Germany, and other big nations outside
I'm
of
not
England.
saying like create a big Super League. I'm saying create a league where basically have teams from all over. So you have the Italians, you have the French, you have the Germans, you have the British. Heck, add the Americans into it just for fun to make it seem like they've actually got some.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Does Gaza bid aid both slams Israel threat?
Fuck the Gaza sympathizers. As much as I think Benjamin Netanyahu will be fucking chucked to the fucking Ferris wheel at a moment in time, when the time comes fit. And I mean it, he will be chucked, he will be used as an artificial sacrifice.
The time will come for him.
When shit comes down and once shit is done, the elites in Israel will use him as a sacrificial pawn. The elites will turn on him and he will literally be sacrificed as a pawn. This entire war in Gaza will be blamed on him. Mark my words.
But it ultimately is what it is.
It
Yep.
was what it was.
Why is America controlled so much by Israel? Why does Israel have so much control over the US?
I'm sure one day we'll figure it out, but for now, we have absolutely no idea.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure someday we'll figure it out.
Amazon tells UK regulator will clamp down on fake reviews. Good on Amazon. Hey.
Oh, what'd you say? What'd you read, Risk?
NatWest has been millions of NatWest customers are locked out of the app, the banking app. That'll probably be a dent. So what do you think's going on with China? Do you think they'll collapse anytime soon?
Not yet.
Do you think that our military fighting for it? Should we be worried about China's military?
Not too much, but we should always be.
Keep an eye on them, yes, but I don't think they have. I think as things are stand now, to me, China's just a land power. Hasn't got the power to do air combat and hasn't got the term to do military. It hasn't got the power to be a naval empire. Our men are like big standing armies necessary in wars now.
Yes.
Do you think that technology is more important than manpower?
In most cases.
I still don't think we need massive amounts of army men. I think we can be better suited with technology. I think have a small standing army, but you have high tech with certain things that are basically solo and manuable. Let's be real here. I doubt the UK is going into war anytime soon.
I agree.
As much as our unelected bureaucrats would love us to go to war and fight in Ukraine, I think he knows deep down that if he pushes that, there'll be fucking war. And I don't mean war in Ukraine. I mean war in the country. He'll be asking for a fucking revolution. I still believe there's a big part of the population, if he tried this, he would freaking be pushing them to war.
And it's also asking for an early sacking.
Remember, I don't think he's forgotten the fact that we literally partly didn't elect Sunak, quite frankly, because he was asking for mandatory fucking military service from the young. That's another reason why he fucking sacked him. But I think he forgets that. So what companies do you think will have a big long-term future? Next 5-10 years potential. Do you think we'll see Greggs expand into Europe or parts of Europe?
It is possible. Greggs has the scalability for that expansion.
I would love to see them. I think they would do extremely well in Paris or Belgium or Luxembourg, even the Netherlands. The only reason why they took them out was, quite frankly, because they were trying to focus and pillar up their own bits. I think Greggs would do well in America. What do you think the odds that Tesco gets acquired in the next 5 to 10 years?
Tesco?
Yes.
Honestly, I think at the moment Tesco is too big to be acquired by anyone.
Is it? Well, let's see its market cap. 25 billion. So you're telling me a company like Blackstone, BlackRock, or private equity firm couldn't acquire them?
I never said BlackRock can't acquire Tesco. I'm talking about companies in the public eye.
I think Kroger. What's Kroger at? Kroger's at 44 billion. They'll have to go into debt, but personally, I personally would like to see them expand. I would like to see them go all the way. I wouldn't be surprised if Sainsbury's gets acquired, though. Do you think the UK government would allow Tesco to acquire Sainsbury's?
Not too sure, to be honest. I don't think that's.
What if they were to divest a certain amount of their stores? What if they were to sell a lot of their stores to the likes of Aldi, yes, maybe Waitrose, maybe even Asda? It would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Sainsbury's be
Yes.
acquired by Tesco.
It really makes you think.
Let's be real here. Like Sainsbury's is not as big as it used to be, right?
It still has a presence.
Still has a presence. Remember, they'd get a lot of other things as well. They'd get a if they were to get a if they were to, Sainsbury's were to be taken over by Tesco. If Tesco was to take over Sainsbury's, they'd get Argos as well. They'd get Argos, and they'd get their clothing line and all their other sub brands. But who knows?
Honestly, yeah. Only the
Yeah, who
future.
knows? I think it would be interesting. Is it ironic? But I actually thought that the Trump administration would actually lead to us actually being secret consolidation in market, see mergers. So far, thanks to Trump's administration, I haven't seen many big mergers happen. I thought that was what this administration was going to bring: mergers and acquisitions.
Guess there's something else going on. That's
So I still think we're going to see mergers and acquisitions. I still think under this administration we're going to see freaking the likes of Paramount and Skydance merge. We're going to see Warner Bros. And maybe Warner Bros. Comcast acquire parts of Warner Bros. Mainly the Harry Potter rights, so they can have it in their theme parks and their other IP. I think they would. I could see Comcast. I can see Universal making a freaking Back to the Future themed ride. Can't you? Or a Jurassic Park
I would love to
ride.
see something like that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more consolidation. Supposedly, Disney's suing Google, mainly because Google poached one of their freaking top guys, and Google sees this guy was a man, a white man. He was limited on where he could actually go career-wise because he's not going to be allowed to be promoted. Because hell, they would never allow a white man to get a rate to be promoted, would they? In that company, so and he got an offer from Google. The ironic thing is Disney's saying no. You cannot go to Google. We feel it would be interference in our thing, so we're making you live your entire contract and work for us until your contract is finished. The ironic thing is he has a thing where he can opt out and cancel his contract. In his fucking contract, he's a high up executive, and he gave them plenty of warning. And he's not intention of doing negotiations with you. He has no intention of doing negotiations for Google against Disney. And there's an NDA saying that there's an NDA and confidentiality agreement that Google said we are not going to allow that we are. Disney said, look, you're not going to be allowed to fucking. You're not going to allow. We're not going to allow you to allow you to freaking ask him questions about our business. And then Google said, fine. Yet they still want to prevent this man from having a freaking career. They're happy to fire you. They're happy to fire you and kick you to the curb, right? But if you leave on your own terms, there'll be hell to pay. It's fucked. A company has the right to fire you whenever the fuck they want, right? With no due process. But if you decide to leave on your own, with your own free will, you're devil incarnate, and we're going to stop you from doing that.
Hey, well, I mean,
It's a bit weird. Like the fact is, like, companies can sue you, can kick you, fire you to the curb, and kick you to the curb. But if you dare leave or find another gainful employment, they won't allow you to leave. You can't have it both ways. And the thing is that they've done this type of shit to other companies, poached other people's talent. So what else is there?
I said something in the chat.
Okay.
I've asked DeepSeek which companies will become successful in the next 10 years. In that link, one of them mentioned Eli Lilly.
What's that?
Something about drugs.
Eli Lilly. Next
production
one.
Scaling to meet global demands, clinically superior overall rivals like Novo Nordisk.
Any others?
Perplexity AI. Generative AI search engine with 7,200% 5-year search growth, $950 million US funding, 123 million monthly users.
Search growth doesn't mean anything though. Like, how many are their users growing?
See what the source says.
I still think China's gonna be irrelevant in the next 20 years.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because the CCP's government, the way the CCP government is gonna fungal them economically. No fucker's gonna do business. Who's gonna fucking do business where you? Did you see what they've done to what they did to Tencent, right, and what they did to Alibaba? Like the fact that they literally went that the fact that they went that hard on them, right? An education city, they had China had a very booming private education economy, right?
Yeah.
Loads of people relied on it, right? And the Chinese government said one day, out of nowhere, we're going to fucking with a wrecking ball. All those people that trained for that industry, private education, which was booming, all those university students, all those teachers, all those people that made money off that, and all the private education companies, all flattened to a curb. A lot of these companies went under. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had to retrain. And a lot of people went broke under it. They also went heavy-handedly after Ant Group as well, in Tencent and Alibaba. I think you guys have heard them, right? They went heavily after those two, right? The tech regulation, over-regulation of the CCP, almost a lot of those two companies.
Yeah, definitely don't
Why the
overregulate.
fuck would any sane person invest heavily money in China? When the fact is, literally, if you do one thing the CCP doesn't like, the fuck do you? Economically. You've got to be an idiot to invest that. Even this is the reason why Apple's leaving. All these companies are leaving. Because they realize Trump gave them an out. Why the fuck would we stay in a country where we don't know if we're going to be in business by tomorrow? There's fuck all regulation there to stop fraud. There's fuck all regulation to stop people from patent theft in China. It's rampant patent theft in that country. Number 3, the fact is literally there's no regulation to protect the consumer in China. So if the Chinese government, or the Chinese companies go under, or the Chinese company defraud investors or defraud anybody, there's no freaking regulation against it. So the investors get to walk away free, nobody faces punishment, and the people are left to pick up the pieces. Why the fuck would you invest in China? I have money in it, China, but again, if they go under, it's not a law. I wouldn't be betting big amounts of money in China. It's not stable. Especially when there's better fucking environments. There's India, there's fucking Malaysia, there's freaking Taiwan, there's like Korea,
Middle East.
Japan, the Middle East, there's freaking Europe. Why the fuck would you invest in China where the CCP is that unregulated? It's that restrictive and repressive on their people. And the fact that literally it's that freaking censorious. Why the hell would you invest in that country? I'm sure that I don't have anything against the Chinese people. I think they're nice people. My struggles is with the fucking CCP. You wonder why people don't want to fucking do business with you. Because you're too strict. You companies. Your own industry. You over-regulate. And you question the reason why we're struggling. And then you have the audacity to lie to the Chinese people. It's wrong. It's like freaking Starmer. Starmer's like the CC, very like China. And the fact that he lies. He says, "Oh, everything's fine, guys. We're growing the economy. I don't feel like my wallet's getting any bigger. I don't feel like my monthly payment, my monthly like payment for work payments are getting better or going up." I still think we're going to end up nationalising a lot of companies under his watch. Sadly, I actually think some companies need to be nationalised. Personally, I think we need steel. I think we need to revitalise our steel industry. I think we need to take it back. Does China have any public steel companies?
Let's remember that would likely be what's in the UK.
Wait, so the Canadian steel company is actually what's in the UK?
Yeah. Last time I remember.
So wait, the Canadian steel companies are British.
No, what I'm saying is, whatever steel from China is also controlling the steel industry in the UK, mostly. At least whatever steel factories are left in the UK.
We need to take back. I think we need to take back. I think we need to. I would be interested in I think the UK should acquire Canada's steel industry, the greater good. Would it be wrong for us to say that we need to retake Canada?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Do you think the Canadians would like that?
I mean, they're going to be hesitant at first, but if we give them the idea...
Why don't we give the... Yeah. I think Britain and Canada need to become one nation again. Canada can have its local elections. You can vote for people, but I think it needs to be in federation with us.
A lot of Canada's culture and governance is inspired by the British, so it makes perfect sense if Canada wants to rejoin Britain again. There would be no issues because a lot of Canadian governance and culture is intertwined with the UK.
I think parts of Canada, we wouldn't be able to keep parts of Canada though. Like Alberta, Saskatchewan, parts of Alberta probably wouldn't want to join us. Parts of Saskatchewan probably wouldn't want to join us. We can give them to Americans.
Yeah.
We'll take the rest. So whereabouts the steel industry in Canada? The steel. Do you think Trump will? Do you think America will get any parts of any Arctic territory?
They could try, but it's not a priority at the moment to get any territory.
Do you think the UK could become a big Arctic power?
It is possible, but
What do you think the chances are? Do you think? Who do you think? Do you think Canada would rather join Britain or the EU?
honestly, anything but the EU, in my opinion.
Really, the Liberals seem very interested in the EU.
That's the point.
Did somebody say liberals? What about the
Yes.
liberals?
They supposedly want to join. They love the EU that much for some reason. I don't know why the fuck they would want to join that fucking bunch of unelected tossers.
Because the EU is where it's at.
No, I think they just love the free the free money.
Do you know what's funny? The majority of MEPs, the current party that is governing the the European Union Parliament,
Okay, I'm standing up.
is on the right.
Oh.
Yet people mostly on the left are liking the EU. So I'm not sure.
I don't
What's
like the
the
EU
logic?
simply because I don't like the fact that the whole electoral system over there. I don't understand how an unelected bureaucrat like Ursula von der Leyen couldn't get elected. Who the fuck elected her? Because I didn't elect her. Neither the people of France and Britain, Germany didn't elect her. Nobody elected Michel Barnier. Nobody elected Ursula von der Leyen.
The only people that elected her are those of the current European Union Parliament.
Yes, don't you think that at least the everyday working class Europeans should get a vote in that matter?
They should.
That's the things why I freaking despise the EU. It's full of autocracy where they give you allow us to vote for the Parliament, but yet we don't get a say in who voting for the EU fucking person that actually runs the EU. Saying that, I want to be able to freaking vote for the people that leads the UN as well. Don't you think the UN is something poisonous as well, just as bad as the EU? Because who the fuck voted for the UN? We didn't vote for it. I didn't. Do you think that's the biggest treason is signing people that signed us up to the UN? Did the British public get a vote in creating the UN or NATO?
No.
Should we have?
Yeah.
But we didn't.
No, we didn't.
The fact is, the most patriotic country in America, the country in the world, right? America.
Yeah.
Right? I'm surprised they're not more up in arms about fucking being signed up to the UN or NATO. Because quite frankly, aren't they the people that fucking that love liberty the most and freedom?
Oh, they follow their glorious leader Trump,
Well, it's
Yeah.
not the leader, but
Okay, they follow their...
NATO and the UN happened well before Trump was even probably born.
Okay, correction.
The it was created after the 1950s.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't vote for the UN. I don't think anybody voted for the UN. Yeah, it's created. How much power does the UK actually have in the UN? Lots, or is it just manageable at best?
At worst, it's manageable. At best, they have a decent amount of influence in the UN.
Remember, they're a permanent member, so they can veto anything.
Exactly. That is the point.
So they basically made themselves kingmakers after World War II. Well, all the Allies, effectively. They gave themselves permanent veto power, and they can allow themselves to fucking... So, do you think we're moving towards more countries being conquered?
Yeah.
Not conquered, more like merged.
So when
In
do
a
you think
way.
the first big merged country happened?
East Africa.
When did we see a Central Asian Union? The union of like Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan.
The Stan nations. It's going to be a bit tricky because the people groups in those nations may not get along with each other all that well.
Aren't they all Muslim?
Yes, but it's also ethnicity that's also a dividing factor as well.
How is that fucking How is that a problem? They're all the same fucking people. They're all the same religion. They're under the same fucking country for the last fucking decade anyway, so...
There's Shia, there's Sunni Muslims, it might be that as well.
Is that the part of it?
I don't know, is it, Jame? Or does it not say?
Well, that could also be it, but other than that, I think in terms of the Stan nations, I honestly, I don't.
So what type of Muslim is Indonesia? Is that like Sunni or is that
I would assume
Sunni
that
or
to be,
Shia?
I would assume that to be Shia, if I'm being honest.
Because Indonesia seems like a pretty decent country. It doesn't seem like they're freaking overly aggressive to their neighbours. It doesn't seem like they actually plead. They don't. It doesn't, at least on the outside, at least.
Yeah, that's true. I would assume for them to be either
Is Pakistan on the similar version of Islam to freaking Iran, or is that a different one?
No.
no. Iran is going crazy. It's going crazy.
So Iran's the one.
I think Iran legalized underage girls to be married. I forgot what age specifically, but I do know I think they legalized that or something. Let me look it up actually.
I think
So,
Iraq was one of them as well. Same with Afghanistan. Will Iran fall? Are we likely to see the fall of Iran?
Not for a while.
Will we see what countries do you think will be the next country to merge after Africa?
Next few countries likely to merge.
India?
I think India, as it currently stands, is already merged as it is.
Iran Iran law sets the legal age of marriage at 13 for girls and 15 for boys.
Wrong. Kids don't even know anything at that age. It's wrong.
It is.
Fact is, what was it? What about Bangladesh? Do you see them merging with India at some point?
Oh no, not even close.
Aren't Bangladesh and India tied together?
Mainly with the Bengali people. Majority religion in Bangladesh is Muslim, and then majority religion in India is Hinduism.
That's not shocking.
But
Yeah,
they're
it's
also
not.
again. But what don't you see? Like but Tajikistan ain't that a chance? Is there part of India, part of Pakistan? Ain't that supposedly potentially becoming a country, its own country?
Oh yeah, the Kashmir region.
Basically the one where China wants influence in.
Yeah, Kashmir region, the place where India and Pakistan are disputing. They claim to
No,
be part
it's
of
the other one. It's the other one. The
the other
rebel
one.
groups that are attacking
Oh, that's the first
Chinese
I'm
ports
hearing
and
about
that.
this.
I think it's the Tajikistan area. It's the area that Pakistan conquered right after they became independent.
Huh. Haven't heard about
It's
that
one that they
actually.
have many revolutions over, and the one that basically inspired all the terrorist jihads in their country. Mainly because they just wanted their freedom. And the one that basically they said they would swear on their booth in the prophets, right? And then each time they all get arrested. Every time.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
They swear on their lords, they swear on Prophet Muhammad each time that there'll be peace, and they always freaking get betrayed by the Pakistan government, and they always arrest them and murder them.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if they know this or not, but they unknown. It just
I
seems like
don't
they.
honestly think the Pakistani government would care about their religion. They use it as a means to an end to control their people.
I'm not gonna lie. The ironic thing with Muslims is that they hold Muhammad to the same high standard as I and other Christians hold Jesus.
Remember, Jesus is a man, not a freaking god. And he's the freaking. It says, "Do not treat me like a god, like I am God. I'm
He
a
didn't say.
normal human being."
He
Yeah,
didn't say.
there are some Christians that worship that man. Like they
I
were
mean,
told specifically, do not believe in idols and false prophets.
he didn't say that. I've read
Beware
it.
of false idols and false prophets. I think it was part of in one book. I can't remember which chapter, but I think it was that.
To be specific, Christian theology,
It's
like
mixed. There's all different freaking texts.
all
Some
Christian,
interpretations are different.
yeah, all Christians believe that the Almighty God came down as a human and died on the cross for the sins of the world. That's like Christian theology, like regular Christian theology. So it's not that we believe that man is God. We believe that God put on human flesh and did what he promised.
What I've been taught is that Jesus was the Son of God. It wasn't God himself, and he died for our sins. There's different interpretations, realistically. Religion's fickle like that. But there's also different interpretations of Islam. Multiple different sects of Islam. But yeah. Do you think America will ever become a monarchy?
Not very, very likely.
And if it does, it's probably going to be far in the future. when we're all
You don't think Trump will try to turn America into a monarchy?
in 4 years.
The liberals think that he's going to turn it into the handmaid. He's going to turn America into the Handmaid's Tale. You heard that TV show? There's some of them that honestly think that. They actually think he's going to turn that into the Handmaid's Tale.
I don't know what that is.
It's a show where basically women are forced to only breed and have children. Their rights are very restricted, and they always wear a red dress. That's the reason why the liberals are prancing about in the little red dresses, the little red cloaks.
I mean, I'm sure that's some men's dream.
I think it's a big portion of the Christian community. Don't get me wrong.
Come on.
I think it's a big part of it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a big part of the Mormon community would love that.
I mean, come on, man. Now you're just misrepresenting Christians. Christians don't want that. I mean,
Some Christians do.
Mormons
Some.
Mormons are not considered Christians. Now don't get it twisted. I like Mormons, but it's like they believe in a gospel, so it's like they're not considered in the fold of Christianity. Neither are Jehovah's Witnesses. Just strictly off the fact because Jehovah's Witnesses denied, they in some way, shape, or form they do deny that Christ is divine. They believe in Christ.
So you don't think that the Jehovah's Witnesses potentially could be Satan worshippers in a certain aspect?
I'm not gonna say that they are, but I'm not gonna say
because there
that.
have been like freaking movies and TV shows having people dressed as those types of people worshiping Satan. Mainly TV shows on Amazon.
I have not really done much research to determine if a
Neither
Jehovah's
have I.
worshiping Satan. I'll do the research eventually. I'm just not doing it right now.
Sounds right.
Yeah, but it's there are many sects of Christianity, but if it aligns with core Christian beliefs, then I don't think it matters what denomination you're part of. Now, obviously, each denomination goes off of one thing, has differences, but if it's true core values and ideology of Christianity, then yeah, I don't care.
Any religion you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody, and you're not calling for the death of anybody else simply because they don't believe in your faith. Now, Muslims like that, they need to be freaking taught a lesson. They need to be put in terrorist camps or, quite frankly, dealt with.
I don't want.
In this country, you can believe in your religion, you can believe in your faith all you want. But as soon as you call for the death of freaking individuals simply just because they practice something you don't like, you're in the wrong, and you quite frankly need to be dealt with. And you should be treated as a national debt, as a freaking terrorist.
Personally, the way I see it, I mean, I would never kill anybody for not believing what I believe in, but I will tell you that what you believe is wrong, just simply because it's I know I'm right. I wouldn't say that out of hate. I'd say it out of love. But if you say what I believe, and I'm just gonna be like, all right.
Epstein files might have dropped.
But how much of it has been revealed publicly?
We've heard this before. Has all of it been revealed?
Or just part of it?
Of course. Who's on it?
No, I'm trying to figure out. Maybe it hasn't been revealed. Why do they always believe that Trump has got ties to Epstein? And you're telling me Clinton doesn't have ties to Epstein?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
They're mad about the fact that the Democrats are saying that Trump has ties to Epstein. So you're telling me Clinton, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton don't have ties to Epstein. You're telling me you don't have ties to... The fact is, liberals, they complain Trump has Elon has more access to information he shouldn't have. Yet you were okay with freaking George Jr. and George Soros Jr. and Soros Sr. having access to your fucking Democrats, the White House, every single week. Double standards.
Life is filled with double standards. It's never going to be fair.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's either deal with it or I don't know what else you can do. But hey, is there anything else in the news?
That is us.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.